You can ruin the way the Bronco drives without ever touching a wrench just by choosing the wrong wheels and tires. And this is the part of the build where the decision matters more than the wrenching. Today I'm going to walk you through what actually matters when choosing wheels and tires, why I chose 37s, why I chose this offset, and how this actually matches the way I drive. And if you've been confused about offsets, wheels, or tires on forum arguments, then good, because today I'm going to simplify this shit. I'm John and this is Project Kehm. No sponsors, no codes, nothing for free. Just me in the garage breaking shit down so you don't waste money learning the hard way. This isn't the final reveal. This is a decision that sets everything else in motion. Most people choose wheels and tires based on looks. And look, man, I get it. Looks do matter. But what actually matters more are these three simple things: how you drive, where you drive, and how often you drive. And if you skip this part, you're gonna buy the wrong shit, I promise. Here's the trap. Everybody builds for that one imaginary hard trip, and then they hate the truck 95% of the time. I'm not building my Bronco for the hardest trail I might do once a year. I'm building it for the way I drive every damn week. Once you accept that, your choices are way easier. And if you don't start there, everything else you choose is probably wrong. Let's talk about 37s. They're not magic, they're not scary, but they do change things. Bigger tires mean more leverage. And that's the part nobody wants to talk about when they say just throw 37s on it. More leverage equals more stress. That stress shows up everywhere. CVs, ball joints, all that fun shit. 37s aren't the problem. Pretending nothing else needs to change, that's the problem. For the desert trails I run here in Arizona, 37s give me the confidence and the clearance needed without having to turn this thing into a race truck. And in a minute, we're going to talk about offset, because that's where people accidentally build a headache. All right, quick reset. This isn't the best tire on the planet ranking. This is real world feedback. Owner's experience, forums, specs, and how these tires behave on daily driven rigs like mine. I'm going to give you the trade-off that nobody says out loud with each tire. Trail grapplers, tough as hell, proven forever, but heavy and louder on the highway. You feel it daily. Toyo's MTs, excellent quality, super durable, but heavy as shit. You feel that weight in steering and braking. Kehm 3s, very predictable. Good off-road, a proven design that leans more towards trail first and daily comfort. Cooper SST Pros, arguably the best looking MT out there. Aggressive and capable, still pretty livable. Max's Razors, solid tire, strong reputation, but more niche depending on how aggressively you drive. And then you've got the Geolanders MT. They're not the lightest, they're not the loudest, they're not the most aggressive looking, but for a daily driven Bronco like mine, they're the best balance I've found. Good road manners, strong off-road performance, and they don't beat the hell out of you on the drive home. That balance matters more than internet bragging rights. Now wheels, because the wrong wheels can make a great tire feel like shit. Here's where most people screw up. They obsess over the tire size and ignore the wheel. The wheel width, weight, the offset, those can change the way your Bronco drives just as much or more than the tire itself. This is where the cool stance turns into, why does my steering feel weird? And offset, that's the big one. If you remember only one thing from this entire video, offset changes how that steering feels, period. And here's the scary part. A lot of people blame the tire when it's actually the wheel spec. Offset is basically how hard your tires are trying to rip your steering apart. Go too wide and the truck feels twitchy and weird. Too tucked and it's rubbing and loading shit weird. Plus 25 keeps the tires where they should be, at least for me. Under the fenders, reasonable scrub radius, and less stress on the tires and rack. For a daily driven Bronco like mine on 37s, plus 25 is a sweet spot. And if you're wondering why not go wider for the look, well, the look isn't worth breaking steering parts over. Let me say this clearly, I don't need beadlocks for the trails I run. I could run normal wheels and be totally fine. But I wanted that extra margin without adding that beadlock weight, without killing the steering feel, and without overbuilding the truck. And that's where bead retention wheels made sense for me. And yeah, people talk about the micro lakes, and that's real. And I went into this knowing that. But when I found these on the Black Friday deal at the price I paid, they made sense. And if I have to reseal something later, fine. I'd rather deal with that than pretend I didn't think this through.
Quick reality check on wheels, because tires get all the attention, but the wheels are where people quietly screw things up. If you're running 37s, you basically got 4 paths. Steel wheels, cheap, heavy, and forgiving. Great for beating on, but you'll feel the weight immediately. Cast aluminum wheels, lighter, affordable, and totally fine for most people. This is where a lot of daily driven Broncos should probably live. True bead locks, strongest option, best bead security, but heavy, expensive, and honestly more than what most people need. And then there's the bead retention wheels, which is the lane I chose. You get extra margin off-road without full beadlock weight, without killing steering feel, and without turning the truck into something it's not. That's the difference between building how you drive and building for how the internet tells you to drive. So yeah, this is what I landed on, not because it looks cool, but because it fits how I actually drive the Bronco.
By now you might know I don't rush builds. I wait for the right part at the right time, and Black Friday made this setup possible now instead of later, and that matters when you're not made of money. Waiting costs less than buying the same setup twice. Ask me how I know. I don't buy the cheapest shit, I just buy the part I can afford when the timing's right. For months these were screenshots, tabs on my phones, late night debates with myself, and now they're sitting in my garage. They're not installed yet, but this is the moment the build direction locked in. And if you've been waiting for this video, I get it. I've been waiting too. So here's the direction, this part matters. This Bronco's not turning into a rock buggy, and it's not a mall crawler either. It's a daily driven, desert capable Bronco that I can trust to get me out, have fun, and get me home without breaking shit. That's the line I'm walking with this build. 37s for clearance and confidence, controlled offset so it still drives right, parts that don't look cool but keep the geometry happy. And before these ever touch the truck, I've still got my rock jock uppers and lowers going in, because I'd rather do it right once than fix these later on the trail. That's what Project Kehm's about, thinking it through before bolting parts on. If you're building a Bronco right now or even thinking about it, drop a comment and let me know how you actually drive it. Daily, weekend trails, hard stuff, mild stuff. I read them all and it helps shape my content. Next up, watch the tie rod episode, because 37s don't care how confident you feel. Then hit the CD axle reality check so you don't snap something expensive before you even enjoy the tires.